I remember when we first started Thrive, and the assistant manager pulled me aside and she said, you're the first person that wants to see the maintenance people. Because, most people just come in, shut the door, talk to the manager, and leave. That is not Thrive. That is so not Thrive.
Live from the lounge, we're talking in real time. New vibes, bold minds, and stories that shine. From chats to laughs, where ideas thrive. So kick back, tune in, we're going live. So kick back, tune in, we're going live.
This episode is brought to you by Bilt, the loyalty program that turns every on-time rent payment into the industry's most valuable and flexible points currency. Members can transfer points one-to-one to their favorite airlines and hotels. Use them for future rent payments, redeem for rideshare, and more. Head to Bilt.com to learn more. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live from the Lounge. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Ariel. And we are excited to kick off a new summer series. We are here with Kari Anderson, founder of Thrive and extraordinaire at many things. And we are excited to talk to you today about Kari's Summer Blitz with Kari and crew. So
super excited too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yes. Thanks for being our very first guest.
What an honor.
Here in the lounge. So let's get started.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we're here at Art House, which is a community really full of personality, history, and just some really good energy. And the woman sitting here with us is behind the whole Blitz. So Kari herself. Let's talk about why the focus is on maintenance this summer and kind of like why you chose to highlight them.
Okay, great question. In my career, as I'm moving through, I guess that's called aging, I'm starting to do fewer and fewer functions like looking at reports and analyzing numbers and spending more time on our people. Last year, during the summer, I toured every single Thrive community. It was 135 properties, and it was a great experience. And so this time I'm like, what can I do this summer that can equally meet those expectations? And I've always had a real love for our maintenance departments, not only because their work is very difficult and challenging, but the results, it really impact our residents and where they live. And so 17 years ago, we started maintenance blitzes at Thrive Communities. And what a blitz is simply just gathering as many people as you can, both maintenance and office, and getting together and having the property have a list of things that, gosh, I just can't get to, but a honey-do list, we'll call it. Yeah. And so we all converge, as we did this morning. The maintenance supervisor at Art House had a list for all of our people, and we just go out and try to get as many projects as we can done. And it makes the team that works here feel like, wow, I always really wanted to power wash, but I didn't have time, and now it's done. And so maintenance in our company and in our industry is really a very, very important part of what we do.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Made me happy.
Yeah. And I would say too, I think a lot of people sometimes think of maintenance as they're sometimes feeling like an afterthought.
Yes.
And so I think what a lot of people don't realize unless you're here in it is that they're actually the forefront. They're the most integral part of a community,
Correct.
of our industry. They really do carry the backbone of who we are and what we do in order for us to be able to be here today, right?
Yes.
And so I'm curious, when we talk about maintenance and we talk about the people that are in the office, we all kind of like to dig in. How did it feel for you to walk in today to Art House and see so many different people from so many different backgrounds and different communities that all do something different? How does that make you feel as the founder of Thrive, and kind of maybe what you thought, what your vision was in the beginning and what you see it's kind of come to now?
It was a really good question, because this morning when I was watching people come in, I had lots of cool feelings. First off, after last summer, seeing 135 properties, I know people, and so to see them again and have that moment to say, oh my gosh, and I think also the maintenance team are like, wow, it's all about us this summer. And so that was super exciting. I have to also say everyone looks really good in their Thrive uniforms. And being in maintenance, you're going into residents' apartments, you're seeing them, like I said, they're super important. And so to represent the company in a powerful way also made me really proud that these individuals take how they look as important as what the product they create. So that was another great feeling that I had today. And then I think really most importantly that we're a team that is everyone helps each other. There's none of this, you do, I don't. The leaders that are here today, servant leadership is just so important in all industries. But to be able to see maybe your supervisor or your supervisor's supervisor or me out side by side, even though I am not nearly as good as I used to be, it makes a huge impact on them. And so that all ripples through the company and definitely, our energy level and our commitment to our people. So.
Yeah, for sure. I always tell Jordan, since we work so closely together, I'll never ask her to do anything that I wouldn't do. And I think it gives a different perspective too, because I've also been on site for a really long time. So I know how to dig in and dive in, if I need to.
Right.
And so I think that's really important. And it showcases what we're seeing today is everybody started somewhere. And a lot of us at the end of the day have one end goal, and that's just to make our communities the best they can be.
That's right.
And I am curious too, with being the founder of Thrive, I will say I have a Kari memory from before I started with Thrive. So that was, probably when I got into the industry in 2012.
You weren't even at Thrive, and you had this memory.
So back in 2012, 2013, I was at my very first Emerald Awards.
Oh.
And it was the year that you were being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I will never forget, I'm sitting there in this room. I was brand new, probably 6 months in. And as soon as everyone would say Thrive or you were being honored with your award, everyone would cheer in the entire room. And I'm like, who is this person? And why? Yeah, and who is her? I need to know her. And then I just remember hearing you speak, right? And kind of talking about the mission of Thrive and just your mission as a human being, because that's who you are first, and just the energy that you bring. And then now being a part of Thrive, because I remember at that moment I was like, I want to work for that company one day.
Gosh, that
right?
is awesome.
And then it's kind of cool to see so many years later being able to work alongside you. And I remember doing kind of like my first lease ups with Thrive and being on site, and it was during COVID. So it was a weird time feeling disconnected, but I still felt so connected. And I think that's a very unique thing to be able to do. And so I'm curious for you, when you think about all the trials, tribulations that maybe Thrive has gone under, or maybe the renovations, the rebrands, things like that. Is it what you envisioned that Thrive would be today, or is it exceeding kind of what you thought it would be?
Before I answer that question, I want to tell you I have a memory of you.
Oh, okay.
And it is at that first lease up, and it was your marketing campaign about clothes. What remind me of the show?
Say yes to the address.
Say yes to the address.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that. And so we're really lucky to have you at our company. So I love that. Memories are super important, and you don't realize when you're making them until years later. So
Totally.
So Thrive is 17 years old.
Yep.
I have been doing property management for 35 years. So obviously I have experience beyond Thrive. What I did when we started Thrive is I took the good and the bad from every experience that I had. And one thing that really stood out to me was, I'm going to use the word corporate. The word corporate resonates. It's a fine if that's the culture you want. But to me, that's not the culture that I wanted Thrive to have. And so, I know it's hokey. We call it the home office, but it tells people that it's a place of safeness and that it's their home. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to take everything I could, good and bad, like I said, and create who we are. And so that was 17 years ago. And so when you create a foundation and you create, really strong values, the important thing is to keep the values alive. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, we changed our logo 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't
not
even
that
know
long ago.
And it was a little hard because, I'm old. But it's also fresh and it's new, and we're not the same company as we were 17 years ago, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And so we've evolved, but I think we've managed our evolvement. So we've said, we want this, we don't want that, we will not give up this. And I'm really proud of all the individuals. We have, 600-700 employees now, and everyone gets it. If everyone can keep beating the drum of, let's be a good place to work, then I don't have to worry as much about it. So I do worry at times, as we get too big, are we going to lose who we are? And I just never feel like that. I go into the home office and I feel the love. So that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I definitely agree. This episode of Live from the Lounge is brought to you by Built, the loyalty program for renters, transforming rent payments into valuable rewards. Learn more at Built.com. I wanted to ask, is there a specific core value that really resonates with kind of being here today and being around everyone?
I think being a great place to work is one that comes
so,
out.
too.
I mean, they're all really
Yeah,
good,
they're all,
right?
you can't really just choose one.
But when you go to work, I mean, the word work is like, but if you go to an environment that you have a team, like the team here at Art House, they are connected. They've been together for more than a few years. They know the drill. The residents feel it. There's just nothing better than having a real good team environment. And that comes from being a great place to work. Because you can go and work anywhere, right? So that's really important to me. And then showing the love. I use the word love a lot, and I know some people might say, oh, you're not supposed to say I love you in the workplace. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm a little old gray lady just loving on people. And I see other people replicating that, and that gives me great pride because we all have to work together and love each other and really want to create the best.
Yeah, for sure. I think I sign off most of my days on our team's chats telling my team, okay, I love you, bye.
Yeah.
And I think it really is. It's just like an endearing thing. And I think that's how I like to lead too. So you've definitely been a great example for us for sure. I know last year with Kari Summer Tour, you visited the 135 properties all over Washington, in Oregon. And then now we're starting the Summer Blitz. So what would you say, based on last year, you're really looking forward to maybe do different this year and maybe different conversations, or what are you looking for and hoping for this year?
To achieve 135 properties during 3 months, I was only able to come in. I'd give everybody 10, 15 minutes. We talk about what they're doing. I did no site visits. I did no numbers. I just wanted to meet the whole team. So we'd bring them all together and we'd have our 10 or 15 minutes. This year on Maintenance Blitz, they're all day long. And so we get to talk, we get to build relationships. People can feel, my commitment to them. And so that's what I'm really hoping, or I know will happen different this summer than last summer. And again, as you started out saying, maintenance is so important, and for them to feel loved and be connected to beyond just their team, even beyond the maintenance team. And we have the crew here, which is our mobile team. And, they always get out to sites, but now they're part of a bigger group, not just them working when someone's sick, right?
Totally.
And so they can every time we can teach people culture by being together and giving an example or being an example is very positive.
Yeah. Is there any conversation or interaction you had last year that you just kind of comes top to mind? And I will say too, I do remember when we were recapping last year and you sent us all the photos you had taken and we were putting together that slide deck and the presentation. One of the things that I do remember, and I think that people do carry with them when they get to meet you, is you do remember the little things. So I remember your biggest stipulation was there was this maintenance person and he really gave me some ideas on songs to play during the video. And so we made sure to make that happen for you. But to remember that, I think goes beyond a lot of what we see in just any corporate industry. And I always say, like, you and the rest of the leadership team are so accessible in a world, in a business where maybe like that's not always the case. So I am curious, like, what maybe if there's anything that kind of stuck out to you last year, maybe a conversation or a person, an interaction that you had that you think you would kind of carry with you.
I do. There was a couple of teams that you can feel, just as I was just discussing the Art House team here and being here for a long time together, you can feel real connections. And so I get very proud when a team is proud and working together. And we have some really great teams. We have great properties, but the properties are the brick and mortar. It's the people that bring the properties to life. And there's a housekeeper up on First Hill that I just adore her, and she's just been with us for a very long time, and she loves us and loves me. I mean, we just love, and so I had a lot of those little moments with people throughout the summer. I really enjoyed getting down to Eugene because Eugene is far away, and they don't get exposure very often. It's just it's hard to get down there. So that team was very welcoming. This year we have Bend added to our portfolio, so I'm excited to get to Bend, and then I also attended a pickle baseball game down in Oregon. And it was just, there's lots of great moments last summer that really make me proud. And I'm really excited that people find me accessible because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
If Chris, our crew director, told me a couple of days ago, there's some people that are nervous to meet you. And I thought, wow, so I'll change all that. They won't feel that by the end of the summer, but just sometimes by title that comes and you don't know the person. but getting to really know people and breaking down those barriers about leadership, that we're all in this together.
Totally. And I will say too, I remember back in the day, if there was one thing I knew about you is that you loved the landscaping. So you would always call out perfect landscaping, but also you loved to see sites that had their balloons out and, branded and so on. So I am curious. I know today you brought your blower to help landscaping outside. Is that the most looked forward to activity that you're hoping to help with, or is there something else that you're wanting to dig into as well?
Well, quite honestly, it used to be power washing.
Okay.
But I've aged. So the blower is an easier way. I like things that make instant impact.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm glad you brought up the flowers, because I have this phrase that's no flowers are better than dead flowers, which is just a blank bed is better than having dead flowers, right? Mm-hmm. And I just love that message has resonated through our firm. And if we can come up with small things like that, that's a training lesson, right?
Yeah.
If you don't walk by a dead flower, it's just part of who we are. So I think, having gone to 135 properties last summer, we've done a very good job at what you said, always having those small points covered, because it tells the residents, it tells the associates that, there's a high level of expectation at Thrive, and you got to meet it.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, I do have one more question. If a maintenance team member was kind of listening into this podcast right now and wondering,
I hope they do.
I hope they do too, and wondering kind of what this visit means, what this Blitz means this summer, what would you want them to hear from you?
I would want them to hear, one, most importantly, that they are the most important. No one person, I shouldn't say that, but that they don't get, as Ariel said, they don't get the highlights. They don't get the recognition that they deserve. Oftentimes when the managers or the owners or the regionals come on site, they're out in the field. And so they don't sometimes get to see the people. And I remember when we first started Thrive, we took over a property, and the assistant manager pulled me aside and she said, you're the first person that wants to see the maintenance people. And I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, most people just come in, shut the door, talk to the manager, and leave. That is not Thrive. That is so not Thrive. And so this is their opportunity. They're out there today. I can hear the power washer right now, and they're bonding with each other, and they're making their portfolio, because this is going to be kind of a portfolio thing, really shine. And most important, that they know Thrive values them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I will say too, not just to Thrive team members, but to people in the industry, I think, what would you want people listening to this who maybe aren't a part of Thrive, who used to be with Thrive, who partner with Thrive, what would you want them to know the most about what you hope they take away from today, from the summer, from last summer, from your impact? You mentioned you're kind of stepping away from the daily grind,
right,
but you're here to really celebrate.
I got the best job now.
I think you do. You have the party job. I love that. Right. Yeah. So what do you hope people kind of take away in your new chapter?
Well, one thing, this is a hard industry, and even getting harder. When we get more legislation, we get more residents that don't pay rent, or it's just hard. It's way harder than when I was a leasing agent 35 years ago. So I would say thank you to everyone, no matter what company you work for, and try to be the person that can make the company you want to be. So sometimes people think they don't have much influence on their organization, and I would challenge you to say that's not true. Just as you mentioned about the young man that told me about the songs, he was lovely. And he made a difference on our video, right? Because he spoke up. And for people who are in leadership roles, allow these people to speak up. Because if you don't, then you're not, people don't want to follow people that don't listen or don't give them appreciation. Yeah. And so it's a tough job for everyone. And so anything we can do to create relationships and have fun and support each other, I would just say try to do that.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you,
so
ladies.
much for being our guest
What a great
today.
time. I'm so excited to be your first guest.
Yes, and
I wish you both great success.
Thank you. We will see you soon up north at our next property. So keep an eye out for the next stop.
Yeah, stay tuned, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thanks again to our sponsor, Built, the loyalty program for renters. Head to Built.com to learn more.